The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Sidney Crosby, the Vancouver Canucks. Hey, Sidney Crosby, the city of Vancouver. Take it back to 2010, okay? Not a bigger day in that guy's life. Do the math. Sidney Crosby will become a Vancouver Canuck. Am I dreaming? Am I delusional? Am I stupid? Am I dumb? Or is it just Valentine's Day tomorrow? Now let's talk about it on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People. We back doing this. And that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. And no, okay? Is the audio off here? Am I using the right mic? I'm seeing some comments. Oops, my bad. Boom, bam. Thank you a lot, okay? Vishy the Fishy. Are you a Fijian guy looking after me? Can we restart the episode? Happy Valentine's Day. One love to you and you, and you and you, and you and you. And yes, I know Valentine's Day is tomorrow, but hey, it's Valentine's Day week here, man. I'm in love. And y'all getting the love, okay? Where am I going with this? Go Canucks, go. Go Team Sweden, go. And I guess go Sidney Crosby, go as well. Because he's that guy. He's that dog. One of the greatest of all time, putting on a show last night in Montreal against Sweden. And here on Locked On Canucks, the show that's got you every day. We got to elaborate, and we got to connect some dots, okay? Rick Tocchet, behind the bench. Is there a chance he's doing any recruiting? And is there any chance that he is more appealing than Nathan MacKinnon? Because we're seeing this a lot. And I don't know how I feel about this, okay? I'm seeing this all over the internet, okay? Nobody works harder than Nathan MacKinnon and Sidney Crosby. Yeah, that's the obvious. Now these guys are like, shooting one-timers after practice today, a whole, 15 hours after last night. Apparently the hardest working Canadians of all time. Not just hockey players, but these two examples that you need to show your kids, because, again, they're playing a children's game for an extra hour after practice. It's just hockey. All that being said, the pessimism aside, again, can Rick Tocchet look more appealing than Nathan MacKinnon? Because I feel as if there's no chance any other team besides the Colorado Avalanche can make Mr. Sidney Crosby be disloyal against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Or is it? Is it something that would be disloyal of, again, number 87, one of the best 5 players of all time, one of the best, based on championships, based on pedigree, top 7, top 8, top 5 athlete in the last 20 years too, right? You got to throw in the international championships too. Could that guy get away with abandoning the Pittsburgh Penguins? I think so. And I think he's already planning for it. This dude's smarter than anyone, smarter than everyone. There's a big reason why he only signed for $8.7 million, right? A, because he's superstitious. B, because, he wanted to help Pittsburgh build a winner and have them save money. But A, 3, maybe he's wanting his new team to have that same sort of a gift given to them, okay? And that's a low cap hit for a top 10 player, okay? He's thinking ahead. Wherever I go, you can build a champion. Speaking of champion, okay, Trevor Beggs joins us. One of my brothers, and hey, I got to give another shout out to Vishy is Fishy, okay? Because again, first 2 minutes of the episode, first minute of the episode, I'm using my webcam mic and not the microphone mic, and my Fijian brother right away acted like an executive producer and fixed the program. Beggsy wasn't there, but Vishy was. Do the math, okay? Trevor, something going on? You got something to say? Okay, got something against Fijian people? Let me know.
I would love to go to Fiji with you, brother. I keep thinking, you see the odds of the Canucks game on the boards there, like Vancouver to Fiji, only $9.99. I'm like, Kyle, let's go, buddy. Come on. Man, oh man, maybe the Canucks will take Sidney Crosby to Fiji this summer as part of their recruiting mission. I'm not sure what would you do on a Fijian vacation, Kyle?
Dude, drink coconuts. You just drink coconut water all day. Then you eat some chicken curry, and then you eat some bongos. You know what a Chinese loli is? You know what that is? You know what grog is? Can you talk about grog on YouTube? I don't know if you can. Okay, honestly, where am I going with this? Crosby to Fiji, Crosby to Vancouver. I think the chances are 1%. To be honest, again, Nathan McKinnon just looking like Crosby's long lost brother. Okay, they've been cousins this whole time, best friends this whole time. But dude, they look like the Sedin twins out there. And now they're spending all this time together. And again, I don't think there's any chance the Canucks are as sexy than Nathan McKinnon. Oh yeah, Cale Makar.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a conversation across a number of different fan bases in terms of what is Crosby going to do? Because is he really going to waste away on a Pittsburgh Penguins team that is rebuilding, that is already one of the worst teams in the league with Crosby on the roster? Like, I mean, Crosby can do whatever he wants, but you got to think he's hungry to win another Stanley Cup. Like, I don't think he just wants to play out the rest of his days for the flightless birds in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a hard time believing that, but
yeah,
they have not Sidney Crosby, but I do wonder if this tournament will have him thinking differently about, the cheers that he got in Montreal last night and playing with the best players in the world. Like you said, playing in Canada, exactly. So, look, I don't think the Canucks would be Crosby's top destination, but I don't think they'd be near the bottom. Like, I think everyone looks at Colorado with Nathan McKinnon. I mean, it's hard not to think about this. This grinds my gears, but Edmonton, if they can make that work, that would be something special.
All right.
Montreal would be interesting as well. Like, that's who Crosby cheered for growing up and coming team. But in Vancouver, you have the good defense, you have the goaltending. You could argue this team is one piece away with or without Pettersson, depending on how he does. We'll get into that in a couple minutes, but
you could also argue that Quinn Hughes is as valuable as Nathan McKinnon, and Quinn Hughes is as valuable as Cale Makar.
Yeah, 100%. So again, I think adding a piece like Sidney Crosby, if the Canucks were going to do it, I think they'd be a cup contender, whether they keep Pettersson or not. And again, so much hinges on Elias Pettersson, but you are
okay. Now you're doing the whole Pettersson for Crosby thing. We signed an NDA. We said we're not allowed to do that, man. Non-douchebag agreement, okay? Come on, man. Now we trade Sidney Crosby for Elias Pettersson, no baggage, okay? 1 for 1. On another episode of Locked On Canucks. Again, man, to bring up Elias Pettersson and not to trade him, but another reason why I just wish he was his lethal self right now, because again, everything's recency bias, right? Especially in the world of sport, not even just from like fan-based athlete or YouTuber to athlete, but also like for player to athlete as well, player to player. Recency bias is a thing, and we talk about this whole like, oh yeah, like Nathan McKinnon's a dog, and Crosby would want to go, team up with somebody like that because then you multiply your chances to win in a cup. And yeah, we got Quinn Hughes, but if Elias Pettersson was like the best version of himself, maybe Vancouver would be even more appealing for Sidney Crosby, considering that Rick Tockett's there, Alvin's there, Rutherford's there, the regime is there, Marcus Pettersson's there, the culture, they know what those guys set. It'd be more plug and play again if Pettersson was just Pettersson.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Now, Kyle, in a theoretical deal, if the Canucks were to trade Pettersson for Crosby, we talked about 1 for 1. Like, do you think Pittsburgh would even do that?
Trevor, man. Okay, you know what? Look at the top of my head, okay? I'm 31 and a half years old. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I just want love in my life, okay? Don't say we're not going to talk about this. Then 2 hours later, be like, you know what? On live television, we're going to talk about it, okay? I got a family, Trevor. So
no. Here's what happened. You said we weren't going to talk about it. I never agreed to anything, man. I'm throwing this on the table right now for Locked On Canucks.
What's that question? Shout out to Michael Lansberg. Next question. Or you answer it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I don't know if the Penguins would do that 1-for-1 right now. Crosby for Pettersson. Like, honestly, look up. Crosby's a much better player than Elias Pettersson. Like, and he's getting paid a lot less. So, like, age doesn't really play into it too much for me. Like, if that trade were to happen, I think it's Pettersson, and you're adding now. I guess we're gonna go down conspiracy theory boulevard. Like, is there a chance that the Canucks could acquire Sidney Crosby without giving up Elias Pettersson? And I don't know. Pettersson's probably not as valuable as we think he is right now, right? Unless the team is really, really horny about him. Like, I don't know. A team like Pittsburgh, they've already shown an interest in the Marcus Pettersson trade to trade guys for futures. I think the Canucks would have to, like, flip Brock Besser and, like, sell the farm to go get Sidney Crosby. It would have to be something pretty monumental if you're going to make that trade. And, like, I'm curious for Canucks fans, like, let us know in the comments, what kind of package are you comfortable giving up for Sidney Crosby? Like, are you comfortable selling the farm? Are you comfortable giving up a first, Willander, Lecker-Mackey? Like, are you comfortable selling it all to get one of the greatest players of all time at 37 or 38 years old?
Dude, look at this comment, man. This is something else. Gigatronic saying, you trade Brock Besser, Lecker-Mackey, Tom Willander, 2 Canucks first-round picks, and if put a condition in there if the Canucks win the cup with Sidney Crosby, they have to also retain Erik Karlsson and Rickard Rakell, like in their dollar hits. Like, this would be the most complicated trade ever, but honestly, for a Stanley Cup, I would do it too. Yeah, I do so many dirty things to a Stanley. No, what I meant to say is I just want a Stanley Cup so bad, man. I want a Stanley Cup so bad. I think Vancouver and the city of Vancouver would make the Stanley Cup cool again, right? Make the Stanley Cup great again. Because again, right now, I don't know about you. I don't know if your wife knows what a Stanley Cup is. My girl doesn't know what a Stanley Cup is, like the real Stanley Cup. They just see the water jug, No, straight up. You Google Stanley Cup, even with your hockey retained algorithm that you've been absorbing for years and years and years. I guarantee you, everyone's probably doing this right now. Google Stanley Cup, and what's the first thing that shows up? Is it the Stanley Cup, like our Stanley Cup, or is it her Stanley Cup, okay? Is it the water bottle? So, yeah, I want all that. I would do anything to get Crosby and team him up with Hughes and just, like, that, again, that you got to take your chances in sports, okay? I'm not down Crosby. I think this guy's a dog still. I think he's one of the best, like you said. I'm up for the magic, too. I'm up for the story, and Crosby and Hughes, they could make things work with the dressing room. You best believe that.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, Crosby would have to choose Vancouver. I think that's the most unlikely scenario here, but that's why Rick Tocchet, you're there right now. You're with Sidney Crosby. You're buddies with him. Get on the recruiting mission, man. Let's go.
Okay, so Rick Tocchet, a money guy, okay? Say less. Y'all can go watch the documentaries, okay? Would you, if you're Aquilini, do you tell Rick Tocchet, hey, get to work, get Crosby here. Tell Crosby that I'll give him 5% of the Vancouver Canucks too. Pull a little bit of a Mark Messier or something. And then Rick Tocchet, if he completes that deal as the middleman, he also gets 1% of ownership over the Vancouver Canucks. Boom, bam. I just did it. I just brokered the deal. Get to work. My name's Kyle Bowen. You can call me at 778. Boom, bam, boom. Okay? Beggsy, who we shouting out?
Oh, man. Well, Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Got the new sponsor. They're back, baby, and this wonderful pistachio. Nothing like a mouthful of nuts, especially when those nuts are pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein. Wow. Giving you over 10% of that daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I like the no shells variety, okay? Get it naked, baby. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for the busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always the go-to. And if you like a little bit of tease, if you like cracking open that shell and getting it undressed instead, for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are also a classic favorite.
Crunchy nuts.
Play the music, man. God damn. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. to learn more.
Wow. Yo, what's up? We back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Today's episode brought to you by so many people, so many things. Again, wonderful. It's brought to you by Fiji too. What's the guy's name? Vishu Vishi? Brother, thank you so much, man. You saved the show, okay? Well, where am I going with this? It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, okay? And the comments are going off. A lot of love for Petey still coming out of one guy's mouth. And honestly speaking, if Pettersson wins a Conn Smythe, we needed to send that game worn jersey to green. Okay, we got to get to that comment because he hit he changed his whole episode. But before we do that, we got to talk about again Valentine's Day being tomorrow. And Trevor, I just want to know, like, you thought about it some more? Like, am I helping you? Love your partner more here? We've been talking about Valentine's Day all week. What's the plans for tomorrow?
Dude, I've got the tape ready to go, and I want you narrating
Okay, let's get to, let's get to this comment, because again, this comment changed the whole episode and maybe changed the whole season for Locked On Canucks. Okay, boom bam. Kurt Richardson, aka Greener, saying if they trade for Sid, they're also keeping Pettersson so Sid can mentor him for the next 2 to 3 years. But he's also saying, not sure we have enough of a package for Sid anyways. Bro, I'm willing to, again, what Gigatronic said, whatever you get for Brock Besser, Tom Willander, Jonathan Lekramaki, 2 first-round picks, boom, bam, get it done. Bring the mentor home, okay? Bring the mentor home. Luka Doncic is doing this with LeBron James right now, right? Even though they got a steal of a deal. That's going to work. That's going to change Doncic. Crosby could change Pettersson's life and, propel him for the next 10 years. I like this, man.
And look, I think Marcus Pettersson talked about, one of the reasons why he re-signed with Vancouver so quickly was the familiarity with the management team, his confidence in the management team and what they've done in the past. And that Sidney Crosby has the same faith in this management group. Look, Rutherford came in, he built a team that helped Crosby win 2 of his 3 Stanley Cups. So again, I'm not going to come in here and say that Crosby to Vancouver is going to happen or it's the most likely scenario, but I'm just saying there's a chance. That's all I'm saying.
There's a chance, and this comment's making me think now too that we got to increase these chances. Hey, this episode again is brought to you by Fiji, man. Ash Neil Lal, first friend I ever made in high school, saying said will never come to Vancouver. He's Colorado bound. Ash Neil also big time Oilers fan, and why don't we just fly from Colorado to Edmonton? Okay, let's not brush by what Trevor said, man. Trevor said, if Crosby wants to win a cup with Canada, why not go to the Oilers? Again, Trevor Baggs, he's from Surrey. You can find out where he lives. If you want to egg his house for putting out in the universe, go ahead. But if Edmonton's in on Sidney Crosby, and you only got Quinn Hughes for 2 more years, and you're the Vancouver Canucks, you got to be in on Sidney Crosby too. That's the truth, okay? You got to get into an arms race.
No, I agree. And it's interesting right now, Kyle. When I look at the Colorado Avalanche, the only thing to me that makes them different from the Pittsburgh Penguins is the fact that they got a superstar in Nathan McKinnon, who's one of the best players in the league, but they also have a top pairing on defense in Makar and Taves. The Pittsburgh Penguins and Colorado aren't that dissimilar in the case that they don't have a ton of depth. Colorado's goaltending has actually gotten a lot better now that they have Mackenzie Blackwood in the fold, but that was another big sore spot for them early in the season too. So, I don't know. For Sidney Crosby's legacy, he's done it all. He's one of the best of all time. If we talk about legacy building, sure, it'd be cool for him to play with McKinnon, but how about bringing the first Stanley Cup back to Canada in over 30 years?
Dude,
Vancouver, Edmonton, Montreal, whatever team he chooses,
okay,
that would be a pretty unreal legacy for Sidney Crosby.
I get what you're doing here. Trevor Baggs, first of all, you could run for Prime Minister right now of Canada. Okay, you could do it. And B, you could also run for the lead of propaganda in the NHL. Or you could be a script writer, okay? One of the official script writers. Because you're bang on here, man. You're bang on here. Gretzky could be the greatest player ever, but Crosby could be the greatest Canadian ever. I know both that don't make sense, but it kind of does. Considering, the gold medals that Sidney Crosby has at the Olympics. Again, the golden goal is not a small moment. It's like that's crazy. That's like the ultimate legacy. That lasts forever and ever and ever and ever, okay? And now you're talking about him also potentially like coming to Canada, to the country, to bring a Stanley Cup back. Now I know that doesn't really matter too much to me, like Canada's team thingy, but again, legacy building, story writing, bro, that just puts him up there. And you see this, you see what's happening, right? Look at it's 420 somewhere, but you look at what's happening with Alexander Ovechkin. He's actually the closest in the Gretzky, not Crosby, but this is the way for Crosby to get back in there. Trevor begs, man. I don't know. This is why you're a father, man. And this is why you don't need to get anything for your girl tomorrow, Valentine's Day. You just got to, spend some time to talk to her, because you're good with your words, man. Impressive.
Yeah, I think my wordplay has rubbed off on my wife in terms of, and more so in the fact that she's a little bit over it, like she's just like, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. That's what goes with relationships, man. That's why I got to write some love letters, man. Actually, that's why I give Valentine's Day. Write a love letter for your girl, man. They love that stuff. I did see one comment here that I wanted to get to, and I believe this one's from Greener as well. Sid's favorite players were Lemieux and Yzerman. Both guys that played their whole careers with one team. That is truly a factor for him. Not impossible, but odds are he stays in Pittsburgh till he retires. Now, I wanted just to bring up quickly the differences between those situations, right? So when Steve Yzerman retired, he came back after that lockout and played one season in 05-06 with the Red Wings. He was down to a half point per game player, so he had 34 points in 61 games. The Detroit Red Wings were also still a good team, right? So that Steve Yzerman still had a shot at winning at that point in his career playing with the Detroit Red Wings. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins, on the other hand, like for Mario Lemieux, and I know he had some ups and downs in terms of being out of the lineup for long periods of time, and he was still an elite player for a long, long time as well. But you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, I mean, he also had his last season in 05-06, and I think part of that was staying around to help Sidney Crosby. But again, the guy played like 10 games in 03-04, in 02-03 played 67 games. But, with the Pittsburgh Penguins then, again, they were not a good team. So I guess maybe that's part of the influence there. But he could see a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of Sidney Crosby being drafted. And I think the other thing with Lemieux too is when you miss that much time, other teams probably start to get skeptical in terms of, yeah, he's Mario Lemieux, but is he actually going to play? So I do think both situations were very different from the one that Crosby's in, where Crosby is still very clearly one of the most elite players in the NHL, and he's on a team that's looks like it's going to go down the toilet. Does he really want to spend the next? I think, like, you look at Crosby now, he's got 5-6 years left at an elite level, maybe, which would be crazy to think. He's 37 right now, but based on the way he prepares, based on the way he looks, you think he's probably got 5 years left in life.
Technology, because like Trevor, do the math in the last 5-6 years, like everyone's been eating more avocados. Okay, you think Gretzky was eating avocados? You know what I'm saying? So that's why he can get to like 45 too. People not eating out of Tupperware these days, microplastics. You know what I'm saying? Where am I going with this? I'm going here, okay? Now I'm flying back to Pittsburgh, not even Colorado. After you go on this spiel and you brought up that little point about Lemieux, maybe like wanting to stay in Pittsburgh long term or just around the end of his career to help Crosby out. Set the tone for him. Maybe Crosby feels like he wants to be loyal and stay there forever and retire there because, he may not be winning cups and Pittsburgh is going to be bad and bad and bad, but maybe, maybe they're drafting in the top 5 over the next, I don't know, 2 years. Like there's a chance, who knows, right? Maybe they can package a couple first-round picks, move up the draft. Maybe they can acquire, like, I wouldn't say the next Crosby, but put themselves into position where they can get, their next leader. And it's important for Crosby to tutor that guy or mentor that guy in years 1 and 2 of, that guy's career. Because those things matter. And I can't emphasize it enough, man. I used to think that your best player has to be the hardest working player in that room to set the tone. But it's business, baby. Your highest paid player, who, again, most of the time is the best player, but sometimes look at the Canucks, right? Look at the Canucks. That's not the case. It's Quinn Hughes. But again, your highest for everything to work, for that trickle-down effect to get everyone bought in, your highest paid player has to be the biggest dog in the room, okay? Like straight up. Unless you have the God-given, like, you don't have to work out or whatever. You don't have to do the extra shit to be like Connor McDavid, which is like 0.1%. But yeah, your highest paid player has to be the guy who's first one in, last one out, setting the tone, not dropping out of the top 20 in fitness testing ever, not once, always staying in the top 3, literally. And Crosby's mentorship with a young prospect could do that, because I'm sure Lemieux did that to Crosby. Like, Crosby was already a dog, don't get me wrong, but I'm sure Lemieux not only taught him how to be a pro, but taught him how to be a legend.
Yeah. Well, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Crosby lived with Lemieux when he was in his rookie season, right? Like, that was a big part of it, if I remember that correctly. So, again, Sidney Crosby, he's had the mentorship, he's had the leadership. He's one of the best leaders in NHL history. And man, oh man, if the Canucks could find a way to bring him into the fold, I'm all for it, man. So maybe let's see more of those trade proposals. Let's cut to break here. Let's get to a few more comments on the other side. Maybe let's touch quickly on Pettersson's debut at the Four Nations. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back on the other side after shouting at our friends over at Factor. Man, oh man, you can tell by my voice right now, maybe, that I need to eat healthier because I got this man cold coming on. Yesterday, I'm eating gingerbread house from 2 months ago for lunch. I mean,
that's what happened.
God damn, I do need to be better with my health. And if you're looking to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor makes eating, well, easy with chef-prepared meals, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. With over 40 options across 8 dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle, whether it's Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Plus, Factor even reveals wholesome smoothies, breakfast, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you fueled all day longer. Factor, I love them, man. They take the stress out of meal planning, okay, so I can focus on writing that love letter for my girl. I recently tried the Protein Plus meals, and man, oh man, they were packed with flavor and kept me full throughout the day. The convenience is unbeatable. No prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 and use code LockedOnNHL50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code LockedOnNHL50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Ooh la la.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bauman. That right there is not my Fijian brother, Trevor Baggs, but my brother, nonetheless. Trevor, question before we talk more about Valentine's Day and the Canucks. I want to talk about love before you start bashing Pettersson, okay? Please.
Who said I'm going to bash him?
Hey, who is your favorite Fijian of all time?
Aside from you?
Good answer. That's all I want to know, okay? This is something that I would do, okay? I'm trying to help the fellas out, and I would never do this because I would never lie to my girl, okay? I'm not that type of guy. I'm not lying to my girl. I'm not doing this tomorrow. There's no chance. There's a 0% chance. Look at my face. I'm not doing this tomorrow. But you want to make your girl feel special tomorrow? Late at night? Around 7 o'clock? Let her know this, okay? When you're taking her out, let her know the Canucks are playing, and don't have the radio on. Don't have the game streaming on your phone. Let her know the Canucks are playing, assuming she's not a Canucks fan, right? Let her know the Canucks are playing. But you're not really worried about watching the game because you're happy to be in that moment on Valentine's Day, and the only game you want to be a part of is the game of love with her. Just drop that line. Say the Canucks are playing, but I'm here, baby. Watch what'll happen. You ever heard of the Nutcracker? You ever got the Nutcracker done to you? Okay. Okay. You gotta just do what I just told you.
Why do you bring the Nutcracker into it? I don't get that part.
Hey, dude, you find out around 11 o'clock, okay? Trevor, Pettersson, man. Go ahead. I'm not saying anything. I don't want the death threats, man.
Look, I will say this. I mean, let's throw something positive out there, okay? So Pettersson, in terms of the shot attempt differential statistics, I mean, Pettersson, when he was on the ice, Sweden had 17 shot attempts for and 10 against. That was for 62.9%. That was the fifth best mark on Sweden. So there's that. So good job, Pettersson, on that front. But yeah, I mean, Kyle, we were optimistic about this. Maybe this is how Pettersson breaks out. And, I saw it in the comments too, but it's unfortunate that he just like whiffed on that shot in overtime. And look, he was on the ice. I can't remember I think he gave the puck to Hedman, who put it back in front for another player who almost scored. That's when Binnington made that big save. So Pettersson could have had an assist on Sweden's game-winning goal. So he had a couple chances there. Look, a one-on-one against Nathan McKinnon. What's that?
He could have scored the game-winning goal too.
That's what I'm saying, right? He had a couple chances, so it wasn't all bad for Pettersson. I mean, look, Pettersson looked how he's looked for most of this season. He looked fine, if not like overly competent defensively. He certainly wasn't hurting Sweden, but he's just lacking that game-breaking ability that we've seen in the past. So we'll see if he can bring it against Finland on Saturday.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a group of fans, group of people, not named Kyle Bound, not named KYLEBHAWAN, and we're going to treat these Team Sweden games like they're Canucks games, okay? For real. You're going to watch these games, and they're going to want to win. They're going to want to see the Pettersson mojo. They're going to be living and breathing off of it, and I don't blame them. I'm not trying to get too close to it. Like, I'm not trying to get too emotional about Pettersson's performances, even though I want to. Like, I can feel the devil in me, like, come on. What are you doing there? Why are you fanning on a one-timer in overtime? Can we talk about that? Why did he look like the guy he looked like for like the past 48 games outside of the games he played against Toronto? I was going to go there, but at the same time, I've been calling this tournament, and I'm already wrong, somewhat of an all-star tournament. Like, I don't know if I want to take a scouting report from these games, but Trevor, just, it's Valentine's Day, man. Valentine's Day, man.
I'll say this, man. Like you mentioned your story about telling your girl there's a Canuck game on and that you only want to focus on her. I'll give the listeners another piece of advice. I did do this for my girl like 10 years ago now. I told her we're going on a surprise date and we're going downtown Vancouver. And she's like, "You got me Canucks tickets, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she was kind of like bummed, like, "Oh, it's more of a date for you." And then of course we get downtown. It was like nice dinner, Cirque du Soleil. So maybe if your girl's not really into hockey, lower the bar like way down here by saying you got Canucks tickets and then surprise her with something good.
Okay, the little Houdini, man. The little Houdini.
There you go.
I never begged. You call that the white lie, okay? It works, man. I like it, man. I like it. Oh man. Okay, Sweden plays when in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. We have to do the post game. So it's basically I got it wrong yesterday on Saturday.
Post game for Team Sweden. Can we do the whole
USA and Sweden? Pettersson versus Miller. We should be doing a post game Monday.
Oh, 100%. We should do a live watching party, like straight up.
Yeah,
I fly to Montreal for that game or Boston. It's a big one.
Let's go, man.
Pettersson picks up 0 points in the 3 games with Sweden, but he lays a reverse check on JT Miller in this All-Star Extravaganza charity highly competitive tournament. It's worth it. It's worth it, okay? It's worth it. Okay, let's read a couple comments and get out of here. Look at me, Trevor. I didn't catch your bait, man. I didn't catch your toxic bait there, man. You tried to throw me a poison right there, some microplastics, okay? We're going straight to the comments, man. Straight going to the people. Adam saying, I love the Canucks, but there's no universe where the Canucks or the Penguins would trade Crosby. I think there's a chance, okay? Next comment. This one's saying right here. This is the one I want to get to, okay? Weekend nachos, okay? My favorite Fijian I know was a guy named Yogi. Works at Scott Road McDonald's. He's a legend. Bro, you know why this made me smile and laugh? Because I know I got some uncles named Yogi. And I've been thinking about what I should name my son. Breaking news, I'm having a son in 8 years, okay? 8 years, okay? I'm going to name him Yogi. Yogi B? Yogi Bowen? Yogi B. Trevor, what do you think about that name? How about Yogi Beggs? Think about it, man.
Yeah, Yogi Bag sounds too much like Yoki Eggs, so I probably wouldn't do it.
Yoki egg. Like your kid's like 5 years old. You're just a Yoki egg. Haha, you know. Oh man.
I heard all those
This
words in
is
school.
a Fijian episode. Look at this. Shout out to my boy Nadu. Y'all don't know him, but he's my favorite Fijian. Nadu. Trevor, how do you say it, man? How do you say that name?
I would say Nadu.
All right, Trevor, it's 2025. Let's not, come on. You got to relax there, buddy. Anyways, Trevor Beggs.
Oh, man, testing my Fijian pronunciation, man. Locked on Canucks, your Canucks every day. Sometimes we talk about our love lives and we talk about the best Fijians of all time. Last comment. Oh, I'm ending on this note, man. Unbelievable. I'm going to James Moore. PD, it's worth less on the market than Elias Lindholm. Whoa.
End on this note. Come on, man. Legendary Fiji rugby player, Semi Randra. Holy Randra. You see how I said that?
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out Nadu. Shout out Trevor Beggs, second best dad in the world. The number 2 husband in the world too. Nobody as romantic as Trevor Beggs. Straight up. I remember the first time I started dating my girl. I called Trevor was the first person I called because I needed some advice. So I'm ready for Valentine's Day. I know Trevor is too. Hit the like button. One love to Pettersson. Trevor, come on. Let's not metaphorically stab Pettersson in the heart after one game against Team Canada. Okay, you try shutting down Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby.
I didn't say anything, man. I complimented the guy. The highest Corsi on Team Sweden, 62.9%, man. Come on.
I'm not going to be surprised if you wear a Finland jersey tomorrow.
I am an international bandwagoner, as it says here in my description on YouTube. But that was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Shout out from everyone, from the first-time listeners to the occasional listeners to the everydayers, baby. We love each and every one of you, whenever or wherever you're listening. If you like what we're doing, go subscribe and like the video on YouTube. On the podcast side, oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. If you want to talk hockey with the best Canuck fans in the world while you're on the toilet, join the Discord, link in the bio for that. For now, we got to get the F out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy is Kyle Bound. Go Canucks, go. Go Petey, go. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
And shout out to Yogi, man. Keep doing you, Yogi. One love, brother.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.